Good morning to all. I'm Dr. Johnnie M. Green, Jr., the president of MPAC, an acronym which stands for Mobilizing Preachers and Communities. I'm also the senior pastor of Mount Neboh Baptist Church here in the village of Harlem. Today I'm being joined by Mr. Bradley Tuss, who is the founder and CEO of Tuss Holdings. Many of you know Bradley as the individual who successfully ran during Mike Bloomberg's 2009 re-election bid. He has also launched a new website called nycdeservesbetter.com. Having said that, we're also joined by other board members of MPAC, our chairman, Dr. Carl Washington, our vice president of economic development, Bishop Mitchell Taylor, and our general secretary, Dr. Patrick Young. We're also being joined by a host of pastors from all across New York City's 5 boroughs and other adjacent counties, and other faith leaders from around the city, from Long Island and as far as Buffalo and Washington, D.C. We're here today to address a plethora of issues ranging from police killings of blacks and minorities across this nation, and the killings of police across this nation as well. We're here to discuss this nation's racial divide and how we can bring about healing among the races, healing between police and community, to address the upcoming presidential election, and also the crisis of our great city under the comprehensive failure of the current mayor, Bill de Blasio. Let me begin today with a discussion of the shooting deaths of Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge and Philando Castile in Falcon Heights, Minnesota, and also the killings of 8 police officers in both my hometown of Dallas and Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're here today not, and I want to be crystal clear on this particular point, we're here today not to point the finger of blame, but we're here to begin the healing process. Both here in our city and cities across the nation, we need healing to take place. One of the ways that we feel the healing can begin is by creating healthy relationships between minority communities and law enforcement agencies across this city and across this nation. We at MPAC feel the need to create a path that leads to this healing through the church and our faith communities. It is imperative for faith leaders of all denominations and religious beliefs to work together in bridging the divide. We cannot continue to scream and to shout at one another. We cannot continue to engage in marches and protests that end with no resolution, only to be reignited and started all over again when someone is killed at the hands of the police. We're here today to say that it's time to stop the blame and to start the healing. Before I turn the podium over to our dear friend Bradley Tuss, let me say that members of the clergy and faith leaders who have joined us today, we have also addressed in our meetings what we feel to be the comprehensive failure of the de Blasio administration. We have addressed issues ranging from the 7 investigations which are now ongoing, the failure of our schools here in the city, the disconnect between the NYPD rank and file and this mayor, the mayor's failed MWBE policies, his failed affordable housing program, and the problem we have with his agents of the city and the suspicion of his now terminated nonprofit organization, One New York, which we feel allowed him to engage in illegal activity. So having said that, let me turn the mic over to Bradley Tuss, who will further elaborate on these matters and share why NYC deserves better.
much, Reverend Green. Bishop Taylor, great to see you. Really appreciate being here with MPAC today. When I got here, I walked in and they said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm here for the meeting with the clergy." And they looked at me and said, "Are you a member of the clergy?" And I kind of smiled and said, "What gave it away?" But I think what brings these two groups together, they got it, is we all believe one, which is New York City deserves better. We all believe the city deserves better than having a mayor who's under 7 separate corruption investigations. Not 1 or 2 or even 3, which would be astounding in and of itself, but 7. We all believe the city deserves better than to have a mayor who sells every contract, every permit, every grant to the highest bidder, except in the case of Rivington, which they gave the whole property away for nothing. We all believe the city deserves better than to have a mayor who doesn't show up for work till 11 o'clock in the morning, if he shows up at all. Everyone standing behind me here works incredibly hard, and I know all of you members of the media, because we work with you, you guys work incredibly hard. Shouldn't the person who has the most important job in the entire city put a good day's work in as well? So we believe, together, that this city just deserves better, can do better, should have better. Whether that's the mayor failing to listen to the needs of the minority community, failing to listen to the police, failing to really just put the work in, or listen to anyone who's not a campaign donor, we collectively believe that come next year, when the election comes, there are a lot better people who can serve our city than those of us. So that's why we're joining forces today. MPAC and New York City deserves better to work together in the coming election season to make sure that we can find a candidate to take on Bill de Blasio and make sure that candidate defeats Bill de Blasio. If we all work hard, we represent a lot of different communities, a lot of different constituencies, we can bring a lot of resources to the table, and I think really have the kind of impact necessary to overcome Bill de Blasio, whatever methods he's going to use to win, and we know for 2013 he's not worried if they're legal or not, but we think that together we can overcome all of that, defeat him, and give New York City the kind of mayor he deserves. Thank you.
Mr. Frank Garcia, who represents the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, will now come.
Before anything, I want to thank Reverend Green, who has been a champion for minority businesses. The reason why we have 30% right now with the state, with the governor, is because of all the people that are here today. And that helps my members. The mayor has not done that. The mayor has allowed discrimination against minorities. 1% of contracts for Hispanics and 3% for African Americans is a disgrace. He still does that. He puts someone like commissioners that don't care about the community. All they care about is their position. We are supporting this movement because we feel that the mayor's got to go. He's got to go. You know, I've said it before, I say it again, when you have businesses closing in Harlem and all over the Bronx because the lack of economic empowerment that this mayor has done is a disgrace. When you have a veteran business that tries to go and get certified as a minority business and gets denied because he can't prove that his mother is Hispanic when she passed away, and he's a veteran, a disabled veteran. The same corruption that's going on is hurting minority business. We have the same problems now with the state. Now the governor's people are doing the same thing, denying Hispanics because they can't find their grandmother's birth certificate. This is a way to eliminate economic growth in our community, and I'm asking for the mayor to step down. What happened to Michael Blake, who to me is a personal friend, who is in the area of the Bronx, okay? To me, it was a disgrace. That could have happened to any of us. I'm in that community all the time, and that could have happened to me. And I would have wound up in the hospital because I have back issues. And what they did to him, they should apologize. I don't hear the mayor saying anything, and to me, that's a disgrace. He's done more for the Hispanic community. To me, that officer that's Hispanic should resign, because that should not have happened. We're asking the Latino community, yo estoy pidiendo a la comunidad latina que se une para sacar a este alcalde porque no sirve. Thank you.
Our chairman, Dr. Carl Washington, will give closing remarks, and then we'll take a few questions from the meeting.
As we have gathered today on this steps of the Mount Neboh Church under the leadership of our president, Dr. Matt Green, as we came out of this meeting, one of the things we came out in total agreement on was the fact that as people of faith, people of God, we need to come up with some economic actions against this city to get them to stand up and take notice. We've discovered that really black lives in this city really don't matter. White lives really don't matter. Brown lives don't matter. nor do yellow lives matter. We have discovered in this city that money matters. And so we're going to be looking to do some economic actions out of this group that will cause this city to have to sit up and take notice to this group as we move forward. God bless you, our President, Dr. Grant.
Okay, we're going to take a few questions and then we're going to close.
I'm curious if any of you supported Mayor de Blasio in 2013 when he was running, and if so, if you could raise your hand just to get a sense of how many of you were with him, and then, including you, Reverend Green. And so, I guess for Reverend Green, who's at the podium, you were with him in 2013. What has changed since then, and what in particular has made you come out here so strongly?
It was our hopes when we supported Mayor de Blasio. We ran on the theme, The Tale of Two Cities. It was our hope that he would end the Tale of Two Cities. But he's only written another chapter or continuation of the Tale of Two Cities. And we can no longer allow ourselves to support a mayor who received 96% of the African American vote to treat our community the way he has treated our community.
So a lot of the criticisms you've had for de Blasio with either the police and community relations, minority-owned businesses, how money matters, it sounds like a lot of issues that also exist under Michael Bloomberg. So why is it worse under de Blasio, wherein gentrification in Harlem, that was also a Bloomberg issue as well?
I became the pastor of Mount Neboh on the tail end of the Bloomberg administration. And so I was not in a position to address some of the salient issues or concerns that were prevalent under the Bloomberg administration. And, we're going forward. We're leaving the past behind. Bloomberg is no longer in office. Yes. This is a new day, a new mayor, new leadership, and we deserve better. So we'll never solve the problems of right now talking about Bloomberg and what happened under Mayor Bloomberg is no longer in office. So it's no need for us to retract or to go back and to look at what we didn't do or what we didn't say when Bloomberg was the mayor. We're talking about what's happening right now here in New York City under this current mayor. Yep.
You mentioned taking economic action.
One of the ideas behind that was that every Sunday there is money collected in all of our churches that go to banks that are not speaking out against what is happening to the people in the communities in which they live. And so one of the things that we discussed downstairs was the possibility of looking at taking our money from all of our churches and having the banks come and tell us what they're going to do to help in this community as far as redlining is concerned, as far as not giving loans to churches and not giving loans to our people in our community. And if we took all of our money out of all their banks and said, the bank that comes with the best plan to us, we're going to put our money in that bank, I think everybody else would sit up and take notice. Yep. And maybe we get some action in our community.
And one of the banks that was mentioned was Carver Federal Savings Bank.
As the place we would go. Yes.
A question also about, you mentioned briefly charter schools. The fact that de Blasio is not a supporter of charter schools, is that also a concern?
I didn't mention charter schools today, but since you brought it up, there was a report that came out about the public schools yesterday that they were doing a little bit better, but it's still not at a point where we can accept today. 50% graduation rate is not a success as far as we're concerned. But we're all aware of the success of the charter school and the performance of the kids that are attending these charter. I can speak for my godchildren in this church and the members of our church whose kids are in charter schools they do far better than the kids that are in the public schools. So we're strong supporters of charter schools.
The chamber too.
Quick, just another question. You're saying New York City deserves better. Who should run against Bill de Blasio? Who should be the mayor of New York City? Is there any consensus around that issue?
Nope. I think the consensus right
Not
now.
right now.
Yeah, sure. I think the consensus right now is that Bill de Blasio should not be mayor, and what
Yes.
we'd like to see are smart, talented people from all different constituencies and communities from across the city come forward who want to be mayor, who qualify to be mayor, and we'd love to talk to all of them.
We also have with us Minister Mohammed from the Nation of Islam, who works closely with our clergy group, and we want to hear from him. And if you want to address a question to him, please feel free, and then we'll close.
Thank you. Peace be unto you. It's an honor to be here. My name is Abdul Hafiz Muhammad, Abdul Hafeez Muhammad. I'm Minister Farrakhan's New York representative, and I'm the student minister of Mosque number 7, New York City. It's an honor to be here with Reverend Pastor Johnnie Green, my reverend clergy, male and female, and all other persons that are here to see a better New York City. Charity begins at home and then spreads abroad. God bless the child that has its own. In the Black and Latino communities, we must now have more than just operational unity. We need to have unity. When we can have unity in our own community, then we can unify with the rest of the ethnicity of New York City in this great mosaic, but we cannot get the rest of the house together until we get our own houses together. With rampant police brutality and mob attacks on the rise, with the resigning of Commissioner Bratton under whatever circumstances, with the new commissioner coming in, the broken windows need to leave, just as the profiling needed to stop. Now what needs to end is that mind of white supremacy that you think that every black man or now woman that you pull over, you must gun them down who are innocent with no weapon, and even with the videotape, we act as though there's 3 blind mice. We don't see what's going on. The other war that we fight is that we must stop the killing of us by us that allows the police and others to justify what they do to us in the brutality of these streets. This is the work. We believe in 10,000 fearless men and women coming together, Muslims, Christians, and other communities, that we police our own community. I joined Pastor Green in this clergy group and moving our money into a black bank. We bank with a black bank already. Another bank that you can bank that's fully black, top to bottom, through and through, is City National Bank. We bank with them right here in Harlem, and they're also in Newark, New Jersey, where our mosque affiliate banks right there. We gotta divest. We gotta separate our economics and make others feel the pain. Do what Dr. King says. We don't need to throw Molotov cocktail. That's right. We don't need to get angry. We just need the power of our unity. Minister Farrakhan says our unity will solve 95% of our problems. We in this city must come together. The mayor is a problem, the city council is a problem, but the solution is the people coming together. We are sick and tired, as Fannie Lou Hamer said, of double negative. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. We the people must come together for ourselves and put representatives in office that we hold their feet to the fire. That's right. If we elect you and you get in, then you hold a town hall meeting with us before you make a decision. You don't get in on our vote, then make a decision from our vote that you don't even have our vote to even make such decision. This can no longer stand. So we're asking all of us and our communities to come together, to unite. And I'm saying to all of us, the stronger we unite, the stronger we have a great bond like this closed fist as clergy, then we can be successful. And my last point is, the spiritual must dictate to the political. It can no longer be that the political dictates to the spiritual because we have building funds and we have programs and they come bring us a check. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on anybody's toes, but I'm a free man. I owe nobody nothing. We must dictate to the spirit, to the political, and tell them what must be done and say, thus saith the Lord. We can work together because the sun and the earth work hand in hand, but we must be the ones that lead that charge. So thank you for allowing me to be here as we preach you. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor.